Hello and welcome to United for Good. I'm Margaret O'Neill with the United Way of Central West Virginia. As always, our thanks to the Library Television Network and the West Virginia Library Commission for allowing us to be part of their programming. We are so excited to come to you today and throughout the month to talk a little bit about all the exciting things that are going to be happening in downtown Charleston in and around the holiday season. Before we meet our guest, which is one of my all-time favorite people in the whole world, so get ready. And you might even get a recipe if you're lucky, but hold on to that thought. Before we get there, I just want to remind folks again about a couple of things happening at the United Way. So this is our annual campaign season. If you'd like to learn more about the United Way of Central West Virginia, reminding that we serve 6 counties, Kanawha, Putnam, Boone, Clay, Braxton, and Logan counties, and that we're also currently accepting applications for funding. So if you're a nonprofit 501c3 in any of those 6 counties, we would ask you to go to our website, take a look at the funding requirements, the impact areas that we're concerned about, and if you fit those requirements, absolutely consider filling out an application for funding. That funding would begin in July of 2025 for 12 months, and we are always looking for organizations in the impact areas of education, health, financial stability, and our safety nets. And so take a look at that. The other thing we want to remind folks of it is approaching really cold weather. We've been so fortunate to have beautiful days, but we know that the cold is coming, and so we're currently in our cold weather item drive. If you're cleaning out closets and you have coats that you don't wear anymore, don't fit anymore, don't like anymore, just tired of them, we would love it if you would donate those to the United Way. Gently used is what we love. We have a coat rack outside of our building covered, and so that people can literally come 24/7, and if they need a coat, take a coat, or if that's the easiest way for you to donate, you can leave your coat on the rack and we'll make sure that we spread those out throughout the winter season. We're also taking socks and blankets, and if you're a hunter and you have some of those hot hands left over after hunting season, we love those, especially people that are experiencing homelessness or maybe in a home without electricity can really take advantage of those hot hands. So think of us as you're cleaning out your closets, heavy sweatshirts, those kinds of things that you don't need anymore. Our office is on the corner of Court and Smith Street in downtown Charleston, or we're happy to pick up or happy to have a conversation about how you could do a cold weather drive at your office. So I think those are all the things that are going on right now. We are getting ready to announce dancers for season 4 of Dancing with the Stars, so we'll be talking about that on our next show. But today, as we get ready for Christmas, my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Morgan Morrison, and you wear a couple hats, but before we get into all that, I've had the pleasure of hearing you talk about your life and your past, and you don't have to do the whole thing, but share with our audience a little bit about where you're from and kind of your story about how you kind of wanted to get out of West Virginia, but then found your way back and to such great success, and we'd love to hear about your story.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I grew up, spent most of my life in North Carolina. My family's originally from here, but I moved to North Carolina very young. And I moved back to West Virginia my freshman year of high school. And I was angry. I did not want to move back here. My family's from Mingo County, so it's over the river through the woods. I mean, it's in real West Virginia.
If you haven't been there before.
It's not big city Charleston. And I just remember, hating it here for a very long time. And one of the most amazing things about West Virginia are the people. And finding your community and the diversity of the different communities where you really can find where you fit in. So fast forward a few years, me and my partner, we opened Rock City Cake Company. We started out in Logan, still wasn't really thriving in Logan. I don't think.
Well, it's a population base, right? People can only buy so many cookies and cakes.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Logan's great. It's full of great people. It wasn't necessarily for me. I do like to be, closer to things and more downtown based. A little bit of a social butterfly. And when we realized that Rock City wasn't working in Logan, I really didn't know if I would end up in West Virginia. And it was a totally spontaneous decision to drive to Charleston that day. And we just saw for lease sign on Capitol Street and just took the leap. And I have really found almost immediately my community here in Charleston. I love Charleston. I love the people of Charleston. I love the potential of Charleston and what it already is.
And we love you back.
Yeah, I mean, it truly is such a great place. So I've made it my unofficial life mission to kind of showcase what Charleston has to offer and do my little part in making it the best I can in my little corner.
If every city had a Morgan Morrison, we wouldn't have to worry. How long has Rock City been in business now?
We opened in 2013, August of 2013.
So you made it past that, those first
it's
really hard
we're
years
at
for small business.
12 years, I think, and we still have hard years.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think it ever gets easy in the small business world. Things are changing, trends change, economic things change, inflation. I mean, when you're done with one battle, another one comes up.
So not to interrupt you, but we talk about that a lot. As trends change for nonprofits, those trends trickle down to the nonprofits, right? So as for-profits are challenged, and we talked about this earlier on, for those of us who raise money every year, election years are awful because people sometimes give that money that they would normally charitably give to something else. And then you have two major disasters like the hurricane so close to us in North Carolina that we felt so much. Those kinds of things people don't think about, how that impacts us and small businesses who you're constantly moving that money around, right? I can buy cupcakes today, but maybe not tomorrow.
It's a trickle effect, and same thing for nonprofits, same thing for small businesses. People prioritize things. You know, when something happens and money's not thriving in every pocket. If you don't have money, are you going to go buy a cupcake?
Yeah, right.
Or are you going to get a big...
Maybe. I'm that girl that my last dollar might go on a cupcake. Yep.
But, you might have to do a little smaller birthday cake and not the big extravagant 3-tier. So, it is a trickle-down effect. Nonprofits. I also, I'm the vice president of the Downtown Charleston Association. If the economy or the town isn't thriving, who's going to fund our projects? Who is going to sponsor? If we lose our big sponsors, you understand.
Absolutely.
You lose your big projects. It's totally community based. So everybody has to play their part.
And that's why this connection is so important, right? So we've really tried to focus this year with, not all, but a lot of our guests being those community partners, right? People that you don't think about. We had KRT on because Sean Hill is awesome. And
Sean is awesome.
Gives us bus passes and, works with us when we need things like transportation for a mobile grocery store that we're going to be starting. And so those connections between us as a nonprofit community and you all, small business community, are really the ones we know by name, right? You're the ones that sometimes get up too hard, hit up because we see Morgan out, and it's like, oh, will you do my $500 for my Little League team? Or, then you got me going, will you do bigger things because we're bigger? But the community partnerships, and I've lived, this is my 8th year in Charleston. So always in West Virginia, not quite like you, but small town, Oak Hill, West Virginia, in Fayette County, and then came to the city, which I've laughed and said, just a little bit bigger small town than the one I left.
It is a big small town.
It is, but that's why I love it. So it gave us connections right away. We were able to meet people right away. You kind of get a feel for the community. And so Charleston is a wonderful place to live, and I tell everybody, I wish I'd have come sooner.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit about your relationship to the Downtown Association. How long have you been doing that?
Well, we formed as an organization in 2020.
Great
Ironically,
Great
I
year
think
to
we
form
formed February of 2020, and then the world shut down a month later. So we didn't get to do too much the first year. And when things started opening back up, we decided to hit the ground running. It's very small. It's me, Kevin Madison. He is the manager of Black Sheep, but he's very involved in the community.
And he's awesome. Yep.
He's so awesome. Kevin, he doesn't even own a business downtown, and you will see his feet on the ground during every event there is.
Working really hard. Yes.
Kevin, I could not do this without Kevin. We call ourselves Roxy and Hazel. We are the dream team, and we're pretty much made up of it, and the projects we do, we are very lucky, very blessed to have the city of Charleston supporting us in every endeavor. We've linked with other organizations before. It's truly takes a village.
Yeah,
it's more than just a couple names to pull off.
Yeah, but somebody's got to round up the herd. Right? That's the hard part.
We would be the herd rounders.
You are the herd rounders.
I like to come up with a lot of ideas. Kevin likes to tell me no, knock me down a couple just to make sure he keeps me tighter on the leash because I can be a little crazy.
You and I have that in common.
Yeah. I can spit off 50 ideas and Kevin's like, Morgan, take a breath. Slow down. It's 2:00 in the morning.
And
we'll talk about this in the morning.
So much. Yeah. So you can only do so much, but somehow you guys do a lot. And so is this the 3rd year of Holly Brawley Walkways?
So Holly Jolly Brawley,
there you go.
We actually, again, another manic idea, 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, it's COVID, everything's shut down. What can we do to get people downtown? The businesses are struggling. It was kind of in that weird halfway mark where things were opening, but not really.
Do I go in or not?
So, I had the idea, let's get trees and put them down the walkway, because Brawley is one of those beautiful alleyways that I've seen it since my first day in Charleston. I'm like, God, this is so underutilized. What can we do here? I think a lot of people have thought that, and they just didn't know.
Because it's that connector between
and it's so beautiful. And I'm like, this has so much potential. So I remember I started a group chat. It had like Jennifer Farr, the mayor, somebody from the Alliance. Like, it was just a little group of people. I was like, guys, I have this idea. We should put like 20 trees down Brawley and let businesses decorate them, and we'll pay for the trees. And I was like, one day when the world opens back up, it can be a big festival and we can make it grow into something. So that first year was really just like 20 decorated trees. And then 4 years ago, we had our actual first Holly Jolly Brawley, which is where the name originated. We were able to close the streets. I knew I wanted it to be kick off on Black Friday, because I have this very core memory of a child, Christmas in the Park in Logan.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Christmas in the Park? It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's the most magical thing in Logan. And it's such like a nostalgic thing, because after Thanksgiving, everybody wanted to drive from their dinner and go drive through Christmas in the Park. And every year there's just a huge line out of the park waiting to get in. And it was such like a core memory for me as a child. I was like, we can create that here. Like, we can create that here, that when people get done with Thanksgiving and all the families in town, they know they want to come downtown and see the trees and the lights. So this is our 4th year doing it. And so far, knock on wood, we've surpassed all of my visions and goals.
Well, it was awesome last year. And United Way, so full disclosure, we have a tree.
They do have. We couldn't do it without you guys having a tree.
Look for ducks and mirror balls, and you'll know that's the United Way tree.
You see it shining. That's
we're
yours.
kind of like stuck on a trend here at the United Way, but look for that. But it, again, we feel like we want to participate, right? It's like you're an odd man out if you don't have a tree.
It feels good. It's that night you've been there. You know what it's like to feel everybody. It doesn't matter how cold it is, especially with like additions like what they've done on Summer Street.
And the mayor did you a favor with the Slack Plaza, right?
Just got it all the mayor redid the park. It's beautiful. So like our big goal the second year was like, let's get a synchronized light show. We got that. The next year it was like, let's do this, this, and this. Let's add a kids zone. We did that. We've quadrupled that this year.
Awesome.
We've quadrupled the kids zone. I mean, I'm telling you, we literally have like $15,000 worth of rented Christmas-themed blow-ups.
That's all. And just time out. This is all free.
Games,
all free. So there's no cost to go look at the alley, look at the trees, do the inflatables, none of that.
We were able to raise, and I mean, we're a nonprofit. I don't care to disclose these numbers. We were able to raise $100,000 this year for this.
And what a clue that people want this.
People want this. They're growing. I think the first year we maybe raised like 14 or 15. Like, now I have people coming to me, please let me sponsor this. How can I help? It's incredible. Because people feel the magic.
Yep.
They feel the Christmas nostalgia. There's something just so nostalgic about Christmas that doesn't matter what's going on in your life. When you see those colored lights and you see everybody together laughing, you kind of forget about all your personal problems and you're just having a good time.
When you see so many friends, like I'm always like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever.
And it's such a great time to do it because everybody that's moved away is back in town for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And they're like, wow, I do not remember Charleston being like this.
And with everything then that goes on Capitol, you've kind of created an event in itself on those nights when people are doing stuff there's entertainment and there were vendors.
So we've extended to Hell Street this year. We've got a Make and Take Santa's workshop free.
Fun.
We've got Santa photos free. We've got a mechanical reindeer. The Capitol Market helped
like
us.
That you ride?
Yes. And we've got a holiday village. We've got these really cool 12-foot like geometric domes. That Hell Street and Volstead room, we've purchased them. We're going to decorate them, and they're going to take reservations for them, like in a big city.
Like to eat in?
To eat in. They're huge geometric domes, and they're going to be all lit up and cute, like outdoor dining, but warm in this thing, and it's going to be incredible. And then, they've also added Light the Night, and while it's different, we've synced together, and thanks to Sean at KRT, we have what we call the Holly Jolly Brawley Trolley that makes the stops between Capitol Market, downtown, and the ballpark every Friday, Saturday, I think Sunday, throughout the entire season.
So friends, if you're listening and you're bringing people to Charleston for the holiday, we built it for you. I did not, but Morgan and team created this beautiful Holly Jolly Brawley.
It's all lit up. I mean, it's literally like Light the Night on wheels. You can see it from a mile away. So it's
then hats off to Ben Salango and team for the Dirty Birds for that. And
it's like when you work together, you get a better result. It's not like we're competing with each other.
Exactly.
Like it takes everybody. It takes a village. So with Light the Night, with this, that's two big powerhouses coming together to make Charleston a Christmas destination.
And then the market.
Market. They do that wonderful Christmas village.
2 weekends of the Christmas village. And so you can really plan to spend the evening to figure out where you want to eat.
Downtown.
And eat anywhere. Is the POTA, do you want to talk about the POTA for a minute?
Yeah, so POTA is really cool. It's like sip and stroll, basically. So within the map of POTA, which is basically all of downtown, I think, there's other places.
Bridge Road a little bit.
But, Bridge Road, I think there's some on the east end, but it affects us, obviously, downtown.
Sure.
I mean, it covers Hell Street, the park, Capitol Street, down Capitol Street. So with sip and stroll, we don't have to worry about getting liquor licenses or anything. If you want to be at Fife or Adelphia and grab a beer and a POTA cup, you can. You can walk around the festival. It's open container. But it's still family friendly because we're not serving alcohol. We're not doing this, So POTA is a great addition.
And I mean, big cities. So again, we're back to the big, small
big cities do sip and stroll. So I mean, you have a whole team, whether it be the city, whether it be us, the people on the ground doing things. Everybody kind of has the same vision, and that's to move Charleston forward, and to work together to do it. And when everybody kind of has the same positive mindset, and we all work together so well, that's when great things happen.
Yeah, so we have a thing at the United Way, and we say this all the time. If you don't care who gets the credit, we can do anything.
Yeah.
Right? And
it's not about that. You know what I mean? It's about, where do you want to live? What do you want your home to look like, to feel like? And are you willing to put in the work to do it?
So let's talk about that for just a minute. And so as we were walking into the studio today, I said, people have no idea how much goes into this, because I was at the market one day last week and ran into Evan, who was trying to get all those Christmas trees ready. And so you've got all these people frantically moving parts to get everything ready for the grand opening, which will be Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving. So how many hours do you think you and Kevin and team put into this?
Me and Kevin start working on this early September, and I would say from October 1st on, me and Kevin, not including Capital Market, the city, huge shout out to Miranda and Jane with the city. They are on the ground boots with us. They are not just sending emails.
No, I know Jane's trying to make sure the tree's plugged up.
Jane's making sure the tree's plugged up. She's over there zip tying things. I mean, these are, corporate email people. These are people on the ground with us, and it would not be possible without them. But just speaking for me and Kevin, because I know the hours he puts in.
Yes.
Me and Kevin from October 1st on put every bit of 8 to 10 hours a day in on this.
So that's crazy. In addition to I'm making cakes and cookies.
In addition to he's running Black Sheep and I'm running my own business. It's not something we get paid to do. It's truly a labor of love. And people will truly never understand, because when you're running not official, I mean, you run a nonprofit, you have a payroll, I'm sure. You have staff. We don't.
Nope,
we don't.
Right.
We're not that big. We're not that established, and the money we do have, we put towards our events because they're free. They're not profitable.
Right.
So we don't have really the money.
Inflatables are free.
We don't have anybody to hire to do this spreadsheet or make these graphics. Oh, and I also have to mention Brian Cooper. With Arts Amplified. We could not do this without Brian. He designs the light show. He does the graphics. I mean, he is our third. Me, Brian, and Kevin.
That third wheel.
I don't even know why I didn't mention Brian, but Brian is just as big as me or Kevin. And it just truly takes a team. And, we're 2 o'clock in the morning texting each other hey, did you remember to do this? We need to call the drone company, which we need to talk about the drone.
So let's talk about the drone. I heard there might be a drone show, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, so this year I was how can we elevate the city tree lighting? Because the city tree lighting is very just amazing. If you've ever been there.
And it's a big giant tree.
Yeah, it's a huge tree. Yep. The city tree's in City Center. It's the main focal point. It's dark until the city tree lighting. It's a tradition to have a big city tree lighting. And it always felt like to me and to everybody, it was kind of an inside joke. You have hundreds of people gathered, and it's 1, 2, 3, turn the light on.
And now what?
And then it's kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
What can we do? Do we want a flash mob? Do we want sparklers? No, was not smart.
Not with a bunch of trees.
Yeah, so, I had an idea. I was let's do a drone show. I was like, let's do a drone show. That's incredible. It's starting to be trendy. Let's do it. And, you know, you don't know how much a drone show costs. Then you Google how much does a drone show cost, and you're like, oh, my God.
For real.
Yeah. So, you know, it was up until 2 hours before the deadline to let the drone company know, and we still had not secured a sponsor. And so I had just emailed WVU Medicine, Thomas Hospitals, and I was like, I'm not trying to be that person driving you crazy, but I have 2 hours. Are you sure you don't want to sponsor this? And they came through.
That's
2
awesome.
hours prior. So shout out to WVU Medicine,
Yes.
Thomas Hospitals.
Dr. Rosencrantz and
yeah,
team.
literally,
Yes.
this would not be possible without them. And we came about literally 2 hours from not having one.
But that's the struggle when you're putting on an event, because I feel that, like, you know, with Dancing with the Stars and other things that we do, is you're always trying to elevate it for the customer, for the guest, right? And so you're trying to figure out what you can do that people haven't seen before if they've been there every time.
Yeah.
And so the drone show is awesome. So it'll be right after the tree lighting.
No, so the drone show,
okay.
the drone show starts at 6:15 sharp.
Okay.
At City Center, Summer Street. That's the best place to view it. We've hired Bill Lepp. He has recorded and wrote an amazing story. It's kind of like
He's the biggest liar guy,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he's great. And he wrote us this amazing story, like 'Twas the Night Before Christmas style, but 'Twas the Night Before Holly Jolly, and it's this big story with Charleston mentions in there.
I love it.
And that'll play with music on the loudspeaker. It'll have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown in the sky. The tree will light, and then it'll go directly into our synchronized light shows. So it's gonna be about 20 minutes of pure magic.
So
happening.
Put it on your calendar. Again,
6:15 Friday,
after
November
Thanksgiving.
29th.
Yes, and so let's talk a minute about parking. So people just need to realize there's lots of that, right? There's the parking building literally right across.
You have to utilize the parking garages. I'm with you, especially people traveling. If you're not from Charleston, downtown parking can be kind of overstimulating and overwhelming.
I second that.
You know what I mean? I know. Like, my family's from Mingo County. They come, they don't go past Southridge, and if they do, they only go straight to the mall.
Remind me to tell you about the time I had a boot on my car because I didn't pay my parking ticket.
I get boots all the time. Shout out to Terry Allen. I think I might be up for one right now.
We pay our tickets after we get the boot. That's the problem.
Literally. I owe the city $500. I'm booted again.
Yeah.
But no, parking garages are the way to go. There's a parking garage directly on Summer Street. There's Spiro's lot right on Capitol Street.
Yes.
It's like $5 to $7 to park there. There's a parking garage by the movie theater, the old Park Place.
Yes.
Where else is there one? There's one on Quarter Street.
Yep. And then by City Hall.
Yeah,
The city.
and one on Hell Street.
Yeah. So lots of parking, and that's the point of our friends at KRT. They're going to be running that from place to place to place. So you can literally park in the garage, walk over to Brawley, do that. Take the trolley over to the market, take the trolley over to light the night, and then back to your parking. So don't let that, I just want to put that out there because I don't want people to go like, oh, it's going to be too crowded.
Yeah,
I don't want to fight the crowd.
There's parking garages everywhere. And honestly, you can use the parking garage at the mall because all you have to do is walk straight through that center walkway and you're right there.
Yep.
And most of the festivities, like when you're down here at night past 6, there won't be parking. Like meters stop at 6. So if you can find street parking, utilize it.
And I would say come early and take advantage of all the great stuff downtown, right?
Yeah.
All the great restaurants and go in Taylor
Retail
Books,
shops.
go in Rock City and get a cookie.
You have to realize Black Friday and Small Business Saturdays historically are the busiest days for small business because the Black Friday, everybody's just out shopping. And Small Business Saturday, I hope you're shopping small on Small Business Saturday.
I hope you're shopping small business
So,
every day.
if people aren't coming down here, and not only we want you to enjoy the festivities, but we want you to get into these businesses. We want you booking out every single one of these restaurants. There's tons of retail shops downtown. There's Stray Dog. There's Pink Birch.
Yep.
Pink Birch. There's what's one beside Pink Birch? I'm not much of a boutique girl.
Well, Ivers is still there.
I mean, Ivers.
So I don't shop. You just picked the wrong person to ask that question.
But the consignment company, Bearwood, Black Locust, Buck and
anything you
Betty.
want.
I mean, there's tons of amazing shops downtown. And we've even got Kinship. We want you to go to Kinship on the Elk City. They're also going to have a vendor here.
That's
We have a great holiday village. We want you in our retail shops. It's just going to be a great thing for downtown.
And so I just want to, before we get out of time, I just want to go back to something you said because it's what I think means a lot to us, and it is, again, that connector, is we really believe that community development leads to economic development.
It does.
Right? You build this great place and somebody's traveling. Maybe they haven't lived here for a little while. They're in a in a true big city where it's crazy and you're trying to raise kids and you're a little bit nervous about the city, and you come home to Charleston for the holiday and you're like, oh my gosh, it gives me chill bumps. You're like, oh my gosh, I should come home. Like, I should move home. And this is an awesome place to live, and we've got riverfront, and I mean, we've got it all. And it's still small enough that
It is.
I know the owner of Rock City, right? I can say, Morgan, I have an idea I want to run by you. And then, and like the next thing you know, you're in my corner. But that's the beauty of it, right? And we are the ones who call those small businesses and say, can I get a gift card for a duck prize, or can I get this, or can I get that? And certainly from the United Way perspective, we have dozens and dozens of large companies who support us that we are so grateful and thankful to have in Charleston, that a lot of cities and towns don't have. But the base of your city, folks, is the small business people who are there given 24/7.
I like to say that small businesses are the personality of a downtown.
Yes.
I mean, it's the personality. You can have a downtown that's successful with money. You can have, big businesses that fund the nonprofits and do this. But without small businesses, what are you going to do in this downtown?
Yeah.
What's adding pizzazz? What's giving it its charm and personality? It's going to be small businesses every time.
It is.
And they're very, very important. And I think we have a great selection. So the key is just keeping them successful.
Well, we're going to do it.
Profitable.
We're going to do it.
So that's kind of my goal.
What have I not asked you that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Honestly, I feel like we've talked a lot. It's a cool thing. We obviously want everybody to come out for Holly Jolly Brolly on the 29th and 30th. It grows every year.
And it's not just those 2 nights.
No, but so the streets are closed. That's when we have live music and the blow-ups and all that. But mind you, the light show, the decorations, the alley, everything is up until January 1st. So not only do we want to see our streets shoulder to shoulder those 2 nights of the kickoff, we want you to come on the weekends. We want you to take your family portraits downtown. We want you to bring your friends downtown when you don't, it's meant to be a season.
My favorite thing last year was when we were decorating trees, how many people were coming to take engagement pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So people were like, oh, I want to get my engagement picture under the lights, and I want to do
Tons.
graduation
We've had to make an economic impact on photographers.
No
We've had to. I told Kevin, I said, we just start charging a fee.
Right. If you're taking a picture here, you
it's going to be $5.99.
That's right. That's right. And so, and then every other night. So my favorite is to do both. I like to go when it's really crowded and see everybody and see all the friends. And then I like to go back through the week when it's a little bit quieter and just really look at all the trees
take it
and
in.
enjoy all of the opportunities. So,
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to have all that's happening in Charleston through the Christmas season. We're very excited. Here's my one little tease for you today. We're very excited to announce our cast of dancers for season 4. You may or may not be seeing Morgan Morrison again sometime soon with her dancing shoes.
I hear you guys have a pretty good lineup this year.
We have a cast like no other. So the reveal party is December the 11th. You'll be able to see that all over social media. The event itself, Dancing with the Stars, May the 2nd. And so thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Friends, we appreciate it if you watched today. As always, we're grateful for your time. I'm Margaret O'Neill with the United Way of Central West Virginia. Don't forget, it's holiday season. If you'd like to make a contribution, it's tax deductible, and we'd love to share with you why we're a great investment in our community.